So first of all, thank you. It's been an honor to share the stage with you. And in the interest of time, I'll quickly get started. So just basically first, I'll set the how this is going to work. I'm going to ask a set of questions, and they will share their views, right? So and depending upon what is their response, we will try to give a clarifying answer, right? And to start off, I would let's start with Mr. Sandeep. If you can give us a background on where you're from, what do you do, and your journey on digital transformation or cloud so far.
Thank you, Vinod, for asking this and giving us this opportunity. So, as per me, uh, uh, we are we are into manufacturing, steel manufacturing company. Okay, we produce 20,000 metric ton of steel and tube as well. So the cycles, the cars, for all for all this industry, we supply these materials. And steel being steels and you can say the discrete manufacturing business over there. A lot of manufacturing these machineries and tools being used over there. Critical processes are there. So we have started our this digital journey with deploying SAP over there. Since we were on SAP ECC, but we have recently in 2020 we have upgraded with this SAP HANA over there, and after that we have deployed many solution. Like we have deployed recently, we have deployed the solution for this BIBO AI, low code no code automation. So that which was the most I think useful solution as of now. See, in SAP, we used to get all the data, all the this production data, quality data, but not in a that way. So you could take a quick decision, right? So after analyzing all those things, so we came to know that yes, we need such kind of tools which give the visibility and you can say quick figure to take a decision for a business. So that we have deployed. And apart from that, we are just working with another this like RPA and other automations.
Wonderful.
So that is how we are just going on for our digital transformation journey.
Good, sir. Thank you. Thanks for the information. Yes, sir.
Good evening, everyone. I am Anurag Agarwal. I represent Mohali Industry Association, which is industrial association, a premier industrial association of the region, with almost 600 plus SMEs here in from the entire Mohali region, mainly from the manufacturing sector, from all kind of light engineering, electrical. So mainly most of our members are from the manufacturing sector. And myself, I am my own company is PK Industries, and we are into auto parts, tractor parts, rail coach components, manufacturing, based out of Mohali only.
Good.
And so I would about the insights about this our own personal digitization. Probably we started in 2000 when we first employed not exactly a SAP but an inventory management systems into our company, and obviously Tally was already there, so integrating it with Tally and the accounting systems. So it would help us to create a bill of materials and to predict our requirements for our manufacturing. After that, there has been some digitization in terms of using of Google Sheets or those Microsoft Teams. So presently, there was a COVID, a lot of conferences and interactions. So that was what we were, our digitization for an SMEs. And but there was a lot of good things which we learned from the Mr. Desai's presentation, which should definitely SMEs should adopt. And but at the same time, we will take that up later on the panel. But there is a lot of constraints in that. We will discuss that as we move forward.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, Mr. Karan. So in fact, when I came to Chandigarh for the first time, Mr. Karan was the first customer I met.
Yeah. So very good evening, everyone. So my name is Karan. I'm heading the IT for Saurav Chemicals Limited. We are mainly into API and intermediates. It's a pharma manufacturing. We are one of the leading CDMO manufacturers for the region. Digitalization journey so far has been very good. We identified many of manual processes which have been automated. So we started our journey long 12, 13 years back when we implemented our own developed ERP. It was developed in-house. It was developed over the years, refined time to time, and then it's a full-fledged system which is running as of now. Also, in our pharma space, we have identified many digitalization initiatives which have to be automated as per the regulatory requirements or as per the compliance. So I guess we are good to go on that part. Yeah.
Good, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much. So now I'll move on to the first question of the panel. So we can start with Mr. Sandeep. Sir, in general, the tech adoption and the tech events and most of the tech companies are present only in metros, right? And especially now after the internet boom and after COVID, right? And I think we are one of the first cloud services provider to be present in geo expansion cities. It's non-metros, right? So what do you see as an opportunity? What do you see as the need today, right? And how is the tech adoption in these tier 2 cities?
See, as per of this tech adoption and this digitalization to grow within speed. So it is mandate for everyone to be in line with tech systems.
Wonderful.
Teams should be more evolved with the new tech system, new trends, right? Even though I would say that management, the top management should be, you can say, they should encourage the guys to have this tech adaptation, and they could start with the chunks, small processes for automations, right? They should encourage them, they should get them trained, provide them trainings and all, so that they could be in line what is going on with their future expansion, so that they could not be in a, you can say, back foot from this digitalization process.
New projects.
Yes. And as far as this cloud, you can say cloud transformation, for SMEs, there are a lot of things which need to be just analyzed first. There are many, as this process needs to be done precisely to have that adaptations. So first need to analyze their data, their workflow, their all organization, their processes, right? So, and after that analyzing and having the as is process precisely, then they could choose the things and adapt it and
Wonderful.
move on the technology.
Wonderful, sir. That's actually a very good thing, right? So access has to be done
Yes.
first. So we've done some basic ground research, and that's how Karan came up with certain solutions.
Yeah, I
right?
have
So
seen
happy
that
to do it.
as he said, the predictive maintenance which we are talking about.
Yeah.
So we have also deployed that solution.
Wonderful.
But for that, your data should be precise,
Yes.
right? Until unless that data, that especially for machine learning, and we have seen a lot of these companies, they are having the old machineries. They don't have that kind of this. You can see put in device and all those. You can fetch the data. There are many manual machines. So how you would get the data?
The compatibility.
Yes.
Understood.
So that you need to find that how compatible data is over there, and how, because see, the best data you get in, the best results you get out, right?
Right.
So it is it is very important to have the best data in place, and then only you can adapt any new technology.
Understood. So, Karan, would you like to share your views on compatibility? So, it's a very valid challenge what sir has told.
Yeah.
Right? Many companies use very old machines. So, how, will the new technology talk to the old? That's the question.
Yeah, so this is a very valid concern that we have seen, right, in the SME, especially in the manufacturing phase, that we want to implement all these new things, but where do we start? So that's where, from an AWS perspective, there is one, what I covered in my presentation also, like AWS is also working on finding solutions for this specific problem, where one of the product, for example, is something called Amazon Monitron, where AWS has built these devices which you can actually stick on top of your older machines which are not internet connected, right? Because like sir mentioned, the biggest problem is that, sure, I mean, I want to do predictive maintenance, but if my machine itself cannot give any data, what do I do with it? So we take those existing legacy machines, we put in more devices, we put sensors or like sensing devices on top of them, which can then monitor the temperature and vibrations and those kind of data out of them. So now you have actually gotten at least one stream of data where your machine is now being able to, convey its health or the lack of it. And that is how it's. So this is just one example. This also happens in terms of cleaning of data that is existing in the form of, whether there is Excel files, or there is just tons of data that is there in like text files that is just sitting around. So there is this whole process of cleansing of data for which we have the suite of AWS analytics services. If you're curious, one of them is called AWS Glue. You can look it up about it. So that is where we have to start our journey for modernization, right? That the first I need to understand my data, clean it up, let's understand what is usable and what is not, and then we start thinking about what are we going to do with all this data.
Good. Thanks, Karan. In fact, before the start of the event, when I was having a discussion with Mr. Sandeep, that's the exact problem what he told, right, on cleansing of data, right? So thanks for clarifying that.
It's a problem for all.
Yeah.
It's not for us. We have faced a lot of challenges while implementing SAP or any this tool which we have talked about. Yeah. So every time we face this challenge, it's a big challenge for especially for manufacturing industry.
Understood. Good, sir. Good. Yes, sir. So in your view, how do you see the opportunity and adoption of tech in GeoCities?
First of it is very important, one thing. There is no doubt about that, or there is no second thought about that, that we need to adopt these technology if we need to survive or probably even grow or become competitive. So that is, the problem is when we're talking about the SMEs, generally when I talk about, I group them into two categories. One is 100, less than 100 crores and more than 100 crores. So with the new definition of MSME by the government of India, you leave 10 crores, which is micro, up to 10 crores, 10 to 50 is small, 50 to 250 is medium. So the problem of adopting of technology is more in 10 to 100 category and less probably in 100 to 250 category. And that problem is more because of non-availability of right kind of service provider, understand in-house also or probably outside also. The scale of operations are not large enough to become cost-benefit analysis for adoption of that technology. So we need to have, and second thing is the awareness about the entire of the owner also. What does he actually need, or how can the technology help him? So that is where we try from Holly Association to get experts at least visit the factories and would tell us. But at the same time, we find that these smaller cities, especially in the technology is coming more in the southern states, Pune, Bangalore, Tamil Nadu. The adoption of technology is more, probably Punjab has somehow missed that bus for some time. So we need to have more service providers who could, at least there's a competition amongst them. The number of service providers who here are very less, they don't respond, they would not come and at least visit you and look at you. So we're trying to, from the Mohali Association, we're trying to create some clusters approach also to that. So at least to make that viable for the service provider, but we're not with a lot of success in that. But at the same time, we can't deny the fact that the technology is important. It is important for 10 crore or 200 crore company to get into that. We are seeing companies which are beyond 100 crores are doing some efforts on their own and getting success in that. But maybe productivity improvement, maybe in machine learning, maybe predictive maintenance, because for service kind of industry, where you have a creative industry, probably healthcare industry, there is a more easier adoption of technology and it's more probably useful. But where we are talking about hardcore brick and mortar industry, engineering industry, there, especially when we have old machineries which are not very internet or IoT friendly, so there that availability of right kind of sensors, availability of right kind of people to maintain those sensors, availability of people who could analyze that data is missing. In fact, long time back when the CNC machines first came to this part of the country, probably I purchased my first CNC machine was in 98, 99. At that time, I used to talk to my providers, यार क्या machine तो खरीद लिया, वो operator नहीं मिलता, तो डर लगता है कि machine. So before selling my machine, at least put up a training center here who provides CNC operators. So 20 years down the line, there are now operators available. So that is the same AWS should do probably. Before bringing in the AWS, you should have people who can deliver that services, who can understand those services. One example I can share was recently we had an interaction with ICICI Bank, and they talked about the host of digital features they had on for the ICICI banking, net banking, and host of them. And I told them, sir, you are talking about them, but your branch manager doesn't know how to use them. If I have a question, he is not able to answer me. It takes me 10 days to get an answer from your branch manager. So that may be the same with the AWS. You may be having host of features. You may be talking about library solutions. You may be talking about but do the people actually know how to use them? So that would be my.
Good, sir. So I will, yes.
So I would add on this, as he mentioned rightly. So basically here the problem is, the first problem which I saw over here, that collaboration. People don't collaborate because there are a lot of solutions available in the market, numbers of solutions in the market, and very cost effective. But due to this collaboration, people don't know. They just work with their silos and
In silos.
So these are the things. And moreover, the companies like you and other companies, they participate. I have seen being as a CIO Club Association member over there. We have, as I discussed, that we have recently launched in Punjab chapter. So we have only here. There must be more than 50 CIOs over there. See, and in that CIO association, we are having only 40 CIOs who are just. So we used to send invites. We used to call them. But still we face that they don't want to collaborate. So that is the challenge. I don't know what is there. So that thing need to just enhance. People need to get collaborate with other these champs and see what is going on in the industry, IT industry. They just want, and plus, guys like you, companies like you need to participate, having that kind of events, that kind of these webinars, so that people could come to know the technology, what exactly it is. And when I had discussed with many guys that we just want to migrate on AWS. AWS, it's too costly. So this is the thinking, right? So that thinking, see, you have, Karan has shown many and number of solutions, but I think only few people must know about these features, about these solutions. So this is the main reason.
Got it. Yeah. So so basically 3 takeaways for me. One is we need more collaborations, right? So that is precise reason why my team is being constituted in India, right? So our only job is to come and address customer queries and help them adopt the technology in non-metros. Number 2 is on skill, right? So we do have a lot of training programs. We conduct a lot of webinars. In fact, we dropped doing webinars because after COVID, we did so many webinars that so many people were hit by digital fatigue. So we actually stopped. But if it is a need, right, we are willing to restart that, right? And Karan can share more details on he and his team. They used to do webinars every once in 2 days, right? We are happy to restart that. And now coming to the cost, right? I can assure you that all the technologies what we spoke, right, before AWS came to India, it was all accessible only to enterprises, right? Only when you have hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? Today, it can be done with a fraction of cost. For $10, $20, $30 you can do, right? And very importantly, before even buying, you must test whether this solution will work or not, right? So that testing is absolutely free of cost to you, right? So we help you with platform credits, which you can utilize to go test your projects. And a predictive maintenance project, an analytics project, you name the project, we are willing to support you on that. And to help you with the implementation, our partners like Reddington, I2K2, they both have offices here. They're dedicated here. I also have my business manager dedicated here in Punjab, right? So there is support also for you, right? So all we need to do is to, the only investment, like I mentioned earlier, is your valuable time, right? We are willing to invest.
So Vinod, what we could do is we could offer from the Mahal Association, we can give you a very homogeneous cluster. It will not be heterogeneous, it will be homogeneous cluster.
Yeah.
And as a pilot project, you could engage with that cluster, 10, 15, 20 SMEs.
Absolutely.
And where you can implement that. So because that would become a pilot for a lot of hundreds of other companies, at least once and your brand ambassadors also.
Yeah.
How the technologies actually can be adopted, how is it helping them. So if you want one from, we can give you one from the service industry. We can give you any from the engineering industry.
Absolutely.
So as a pilot, but you must take it up and do it at as a kind of a publicity and as a advertising thing only. Okay? So
It will
would-
be an
that very
investment
good.
from our side. 100% we will do. Yes, sir. Sorry, sir. So we'll move on to Mr. Karan.
So see, tech adoption in today's scenario is the need of the hour. So if we keep on running the existing tech, it will get obsoleted either today or tomorrow. So it's the need of the hour. We go with the current technologies, we go with the current tech. And adaptability with respect to enterprises, if we have, say, cost-effective solutions which give me a good ROI, so we have to just evaluate which is the best tech that will suit my business. In terms of legacy systems, yeah, as rightly said by Karan also, there are systems which can be built on top of the systems. We can always enhance the legacy systems, putting in some more data acquisition, say some sensors or data loggers which can fetch out the data. It's all about data, the data mining, the data, data extraction that we can get, which can help the senior leadership or the management to have more precise decisions, more cost-effective, and more time-saving solutions. Also, with AI, ML, and say various chatbots that are coming in place. So I don't think so chatbots are limited only to chat GPT. Yeah. If we go, we will find, I guess, suppose 15, 20, 30 chatbots which are dedicatedly for each and every services which are available, which we want to explore. So getting the new tech, that is the need of the hour right now.
Wonderful, sir. Thank you. Thanks for the insight. So we'll move on to the next question. So in this journey of adopting new technology, right, how do you see cloud as an enabler for that? And when it comes to cloud, what do you think are the major blockers which are currently preventing, especially SMEs, in adopting to cloud?
See, as I said, that adaptation of cloud, it's a need of our, right? First of all, you can save upfront cost of the hardware, software licensing,
Correct.
and all that. The SME, they could save a lot of things with this. They don't need to invest on hardware, software, and even the maintenance, monitoring. All those things are free of cost from the cloud, depending on the service provider, cloud provider.
Correct.
So that is more important to choose the partner, choose the service provider. So that is the mode. I have seen many cases, they choose the partner, and after some time, once they get migrated, they face a lot of issues and all. So that exercise that need to be done precisely while choosing the partner. So that is the more important thing. And then it comes the server sizing. What is their need? What is the exact requirement of data and how they want, and how much space they want? What will be the server size? So that part they need to do this very precisely. And as I said, that why people don't invest. So it is all about that lack of knowledge.
Lack of knowledge. Okay.
So when you demonstrate all those things, that how AWS helps, how it provides the free of cost, you can evaluate the things free of cost, put in the data over there, see how it works, and how it would be the beneficial for your organization, and what part, then you can analyze that what part you can move on cloud.
Understood.
Right? It is not, say, to put all the data, all these things one time on cloud. No, I would not recommend that. So you need to choose wisely, that which part is more critical and which part can be put on cloud, migrate on cloud, and which doesn't impact the business. So that is the more important thing. Yes, we need to check. We need to collaborate with many partners to see how it works. So this is how people.
Got it. Understood. Right. So, Karan, would you like to share your views on how to get started initially?
Yeah, so I think you brought up a very good point, right? So a lot of times what happens as solutions architects, my teams and my job is exactly this thing, right? To identify what is a good use case to even put on the cloud and how do we do it. Now, a lot of times the conversation starts that, okay, we need to move to the cloud. So what is the first thing we do? We see our existing servers. We see we have 4 servers of this XYZ size. Give me the equivalent quote of that on AWS and I'm going to migrate everything as it is and put it on the cloud. Now, this is not really what we call a cloud adoption, right? Because whatever problems you had in your existing system, if there is inefficient code, if there is underutilized servers, you're essentially taking all of those problems and bringing those problems up onto the cloud again. So this is where it is very important that you do connect with the solutions architects, the partners, the people who have done this in the past, understand, right, what is it that we are even trying to achieve by moving to the cloud, identify a scope, and then start the cloud migration journey or the cloud adoption journey. And this is where our team is out there to help the SME specifically. All of us are dedicated towards SMEs, so it's not like we are working with some Fortune 500 companies and we won't have time here. It's not like that. We are fully dedicated to working with SMEs like yourselves. So yeah, I mean, think about that the more you talk to the people in the field, that will give you a much better of idea of what does cloud adoption mean for my particular business, which is going to be very different for what cloud adoption is for the another business. So I think that is the first thing to keep in mind.
Thanks, Karan. Yes, sir.
So probably till 4 years back, the speed of internet was the biggest deterrent for cloud adoption, especially for the tier 2 cities. That in last 2-3 years, it has now more or less,
Yes.
we have most of the, at least tier 2 cities are now covered with the broadband connectivity. But at the same time, the reliability of that broadband is still a deterrent. So we have a server which goes, this Airtel line which goes down, broadband line. Recently, because of this rains and flooding, our line broke down and 3 days we were without internet. So trying to hook in through our 5G networks or that way. So that is one of the biggest deterrent. Second deterrent for SME, at least at the probably more of a mindset, is about the security of their data. कि जी कोई लीक ना हो जाए, कोई वहाँ पे पता नहीं क्या होगा, कोई इनकम टैक्स वाले ना ले जाएं डेटा आपका, ठीक है? So that is a concern which the SMEs definitely have. So that needs to probably, again through knowledge and probably through information sharing, that sphere can be at least addressed. And but I think more or less till 4 years back it was the internet speed, but it is now getting corrected. So people are wanting to adopt cloud, and we feel definitely what you said, we're moving to a subscription-based model, so which is now cheaper. But there, again, the deterrent is the moment you have a subscription model, then you say कि number of users define karo. So every SMEs generally would have 5-6 companies, one main company and 3-4-5-6 small other companies made. So then the charges become per company charge hai, per user charge hai. So that you need to address, because तब वो charge बहुत ज़्यादा हो जाता है. Suddenly I would have a CAD software, if I buy my own, it will cost me 4 lakhs. भाई 4 companies use करेंगी, 10 users use करेंगे, तो जी लाख रुपए साल का होगा. पहले दिन में से कि जी 5,000 per person ही है. So most of the SMEs behave in that way. They would have एक बेटे के नाम पे company है, एक wife के नाम पे company है, for the tax services, whatever. So that thing has to be addressed when we move to cloud.
Understood. So it's a very valid question. And from an AWS standpoint, we do not charge on a number of users and all. So the infrastructure is as per the configuration. The cost is on the configuration. A number of requests and as well. We're not based on users. Where you'll be charged based on users is when you use an application on top of it. The application provider like you told, like CAD software, right? So that's basically about their software. Right? But when it comes to AWS, that cost is not based on users, right? And security, yes, of course, like I told you, it's job zero and priority zero for us, right? And I used to.
So that is what AWS we don't look at AWS as a server provider only. So when we moving to cloud, we are not moving to cloud because of for just a server. So we are looking to at a software solutions, and when we look at the software solutions, तो ये issues आने शुरू हो जाते हैं.
Understood. Got it, sir. Got it. Yes, sir.
Yeah. If I see in current scenario, what I feel is cloud technology is the catalyst that fuels innovation.
Exactly.
Right. So, getting onto cloud and adopting it, and then moreover, the challenges that come along with are the fear factor of any enterprise, yeah, be a medium, small, big, any enterprise. The DR or the continuity plan that has to be in place, whether it's say a hybrid model or it's a on-prem or a private or a public cloud. If we have a strong DR or a BCP in place, I don't think so the adaptation or the challenges with respect to migration on cloud will occur for any of the organizations. Secondly, the psychological barrier, that is the main factor which holds us back migrating to cloud or adopting the cloud technology. Getting all the things on-prem and directly onto a place where you can't see anything in front of you. So that's a big challenge. So we say data is our main concern and main key the organization has. And when you don't see that data physically in front of you, you feel a bit afraid. So that's the main psychological barrier. If we can mitigate all those things, I don't think so that this will be a big challenge. So it's all about a business continuity plan. Business has to run.
Right. Good, sir. Very valid question, and he brought up. So I used to give this example wherever I go, right? So if the server is in your data center, and if it is in front of your eyes, it does not mean that it is secure, right? Actually, the data theft happens through the network. And one example I used to tell, right? So I have a customer in Chennai who's a healthcare customer, and they are running 100% on AWS, right? At the same time, I'm trying to make one healthcare customer AWS user, and they are completely on-prem, right? That customer who had their servers in their hospital was hacked 4 times continuously in 1 month. 4 times. Right? And the same customer, healthcare customer, again, who is running 100% on AWS, was never had an attack or an attempt at all. So basically, does it mean that when you come to the cloud, your data is safe? It depends upon the controls you put in place. That is why we call the security model as shared security model, where data in the cloud and data off the cloud. Data off the cloud is taken care by us, but data in the cloud is your responsibility. Like the passwords has to be safely stored. It should not be stored in Excels. Should not be put in a very public domain. Many best practices are there, right? And if there's a rogue employee, many customers have faced that. A rogue employee, he would have gone, but the IT team would have forgot to delete his access. I've seen many instances where they've used that badly, right? So it's about you architecting and putting in the right measures that will make it super secure, right? That is why my team is here and Karan's team is here in giving you more confidence on best rules, best practices to be followed in the implementation. Right? Karan, you want to add something?
I'll take a quick minute, right? So see, this is a concern that is always asked. Right? What about my data security, right? Is my data in the cloud going to be secure? What if somebody else gets access? What if my customer gets access? So you will find that first of all, the way AWS does data security is that you and only you have complete control over your data. Nobody from AWS can actually read your data because you can encrypt it, where the encryption, decryption keys are only with you. It stays in your account, in your region, and we have had sometimes the customers say that, you are from AWS, why don't you just go and see my data? I want to talk about that. No, we cannot. Nobody has actual human access to those things, because it is all encrypted and kept into data centers which are secured. Now, the other question that's asked was, what if the government or the income tax department or somebody gets my access? What happens? Now, again, this is something that AWS has very publicly mentioned in the data privacy policy, right? That even if a law enforcement, let's say, for example, asks that, we want this XYZ company's data, AWS does not give it away directly like that. What happens is our role as a cloud provider is to let you know that, this is something that a law enforcement is asking for this data. How do you want to deal with it? right? So this is something that is like legally written in the terms of usage. So that is something we can cross validate also. The other thing about security controls, right? That is even more important. That is more under our control. As solutions architects, we always help on this. Is that, see, the example I give is when you buy a house and you purchase the most expensive lock that you can find for your house, but then you leave your door unlocked, right? And then if somebody thief comes into your house and say that, oh, you know what, you cannot then go and say that, I had purchased the most expensive lock. Why did somebody still get into my house? Because you did not actually lock the door with that lock. Right? So that is what happens. That AWS, you can think of it as the provider of the locks, that we will give you the services and controls that make it easy for locking down your data, for encrypting your data, for making sure multi-factor authentication is required to access your data. Now, how do you use these services to actually build security controls is up to you. And this is where, again, we will not just say that you decide. We can guide you. That is what our solutions architects team does, that we provide you what is the right design principles, what is the security services we should use. But you have to eventually implement those things, right? So that is where we work together to make sure that the data security concerns are taken care of.
So in short, I would say that the investment on the security part, whether it is IPS, IDS, n number of security appliances, which AWS or any data center provider could invest. I don't think that any of this, you can say SME, has invested in that.
That is right.
Only the firewall is
Enterprises.
there, and that's the EPS system is over there, which I have saw within the many industries over here.
Yeah.
So it itself says where you are square, where your data is square actually.
That is right.
So exactly that is what I was saying. Kiji, for SMEs to having all those systems, like you mentioned, the rogue employee. So probably the SME would have those systems in place when an employee is leaving, the access is being denied, or is the employee even accessing the data from outside the office premises? So that is the biggest fear which we have. So all my data is on the cloud. Now this employee can collaborate with my competitor outside the premises. So you need to probably address those issues before then. SMEs probably can, because we don't have that kind of with our employees, the kind of an NDA signed up and kind of some legal contract signed up. We can take him to task. So those are the concerns where we would like our data to be in our premises and with our control.
Yeah, just in addition to what Sandeep said, we can put n number of controls. You can have the number one firewall, antivirus, DLP, CASB, any of the solutions. But coming to the SMEs, what all are the solutions that are viable in that cost effectiveness has to be evaluated, because whenever a business is taking a call to implement security, whether it's in terms of data, in terms of cyber, we have to evaluate the cost effectiveness of the solution.
Yes.
So there AWS comes into the picture. What all are the security benefits that you are providing alongside the servers or the deployments that are being done on AWS?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So the basic security services, right? The services which makes your security, let's say if I have to take a scale of 100, if it has to be secure by 70% or 80%, those services are inbuilt and it is free of cost. It's actually of no cost, right? When you want to build very advanced security services like powered by machine learning, AI, then there is a cost to it, but that is also an affordable cost. Now, what used to cost millions of dollars in setting up a data center, so highly secure, that can be easily now achieved in a fraction of it, right? Less than $1,000, less than $100, you can do it, depending upon the size of the organization. So that way, the cost and the needed guidelines and controls can be put easily, right? That's about it. So we have the final question. I know we already spoke about it, but the final question would be, what is the support that you expect from us?
As we discussed earlier, that support, the trainings.
Trainings.
That all we just want, and what are the available options, cost-effective options for, especially for SMEs.
Right.
See, when it comes to the cost, then suddenly things got changed.
Right.
Right.
That I can assure you.
Yes.
That I can assure
So
you.
that is the major major issue and major challenge.
Right.
So when we do all the exercise, all those things, everything is fine. Data refining, cleansing of data, evaluating vendors and all those. So then when that figure goes in front of the management, they saw yes.
Got it, sir.
Course.
That I can assure that
We will see that. We'll see that. That see, it never comes.
Yeah.
Right. So we just want to very cost-effective solutions and plus trainings so that our skill set could be, I can say, improvised.
Definitely.
So here the major challenge also is that skill set. Here you can see we don't have that kind of skill set available. In, everything is you can say given to for monitoring and other partners, even though for monitoring firewalls as well. So it's a simple thing, right? So I have seen many companies, they have given their firewall as well for AMC and all for small changes and these things.
So definitely keen in.
So to overcome from this challenge, especially in this our region, so I would recommend to have the trainings to build this skill set over there.
Sure. We'll definitely do that. Yeah.
The same like what we would expect would be, as I already said, we could have a pilot project where we get exposed to this. You can visit the industries and tell the industry what all the service solutions you can, as you said, you are not looking at a service but as solutions. So what all solutions you can provide for our industry.
100%.
And for adoption is again a cost benefit analysis if it can be actually be done. We had like I can share an example, like there was a seminar which we had about a electric motor from a company, and they said they were talking about कि जब मोटर खराब हो जाएगी उसको रिवाइंड नहीं करनी चाहिए. Everyone has been told कि रिवाइंड नहीं करनी चाहिए, उसको जी नया लगा लो तो you will save more. मैं कहा जी आप बिल्कुल ठीक है, but till the time you actually prove it to us. So why don't you come over to my factory? I will give you a new motor, I will give you a rewound motor, and you prove it to me कि how do I check? And but after that no one came. As you said कि वो सी हो जाता है, कोई होता नहीं है. So the cost benefit analysis of your solutions is very important because of the scales at which the SME is working. आपका solution वो कितना होगा, because maybe very cost benefit analysis is a very large scale, but at an SME scale, how do you make that cost benefit analysis is there, that you prove it to us and we are ready to adopt it.
Right. Sure.
See, I suppose POC is the best way to prove things. So proof of concept is there. We can have training sessions. We can have cost-effective solutions. But until and unless Karan and his team reach out to people, they practically see what are the challenges.
Right.
What are the cost-effective solutions they can provide? See, I have a bundle of data lying in front of me, but how I can utilize it?
Yeah.
In what way I can say have a MIS in place, I can have dashboard in place, which can help the leadership taking decision in fraction of seconds.
Right.
So that has to come from a bird eye view, a top view, a third eye view that business perspective is not having. Or the people who are dealing with the data on day-to-day basis, they are not having that perspective of seeing things. So I guess at that place, your team can pitch in. They can come up with the solutions, come up with the architecture that can be deployed at different industries, different scalable places. So that would help the industry, I guess.
Definitely, sir. Definitely. Sure. And that's the only reason why my team is formed, right? So happy to do that. With that, we come to an end for a great interaction. Thank you very much for the participation. Right, sir. Thank you.